Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how you can receive more money from your Canadian Child Benefit Plan, or your CCB, by using your RRSPs. First, I should briefly talk about what the CCB is. The CCB is a payment program for Canadian families to help with the cost of raising children. It started in 2016 when the Trudeau Liberal government came in. It replaced the UCCB, the Universal Child Care Benefit, and the UCCB was a program introduced by the Harper government, and what it did was for every child under 6 years old, they gave you a certain amount, and I believe that amount was about $1,920 per child under 6, and any child from 6 to 17, a Canadian family would receive about $720 per year. And the UCCB was fully taxed. It counted as income, so the higher tax bracket you were in, the more tax you were charged on that UCCB. But when the Trudeau Liberals came into power, they wanted to change it. They wanted to give more benefits to lower and middle income earning families. And so they developed this program based solely on your income. And more specifically, this is going to be your adjusted family net income. So it's a family income, not an individual income. And the other major change to this was that every payment you received from this program, the CCB, would be 100% tax-free. Now, because every family makes a different income in Canada, the calculations are a little more complex. Under the UCCB, you knew exactly how much you were going to get, but with the CCB, it's entirely based on your AFNI. So on the Canada.ca website here, you can see that they do have a calculator here, and if you click on that button, you'll go through a series of questions and you'll answer, and it'll approximate what you'll receive in CCB payments. If you click on the map behind the CCB payments here, it'll show you the calculations used, and you'll see that the amount you receive depends on your AFNI, your family net income, how many children you have, and the ages of your children. And if you scroll through this, they have a few examples here of different scenarios based on your income and how many kids you have and all that sort of stuff. And it's wordy and it's convoluted. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that I'm a huge fan of spreadsheets. So I cleaned this up and put it into a spreadsheet. So here's a spreadsheet that I created, and I created it based on my family situation, and I only had one of those columns down here at the bottom. But for the sake of this video, I did create the other two scenarios, and it's not as pretty and as sleek as I would like my spreadsheets to be. But for the sake of this video, we'll just look at one column and ignore the other two depending on what scenario we're going to be looking at. And I did a quick Google search on the average income in Canada, and Canadian-wide, it looked like the average income was about $98,000. So that's just what I threw in here. I just had one spouse earn $50,000 and the other spouse earn $48,000. It doesn't matter. One spouse could earn $98,000 and the other zero. The distribution of the spouses doesn't matter. It's a family income. So it doesn't matter the split between the two spouses. And you can see here in the spreadsheet, the government determines your AFNI, your adjusted family net income, on 5 lines from your notice of assessment from your tax files. And you can see the 5 lines there. Most of you will just have numbers in line 23,600 there. So that's all I've done, is I've just entered a random number into that line. It is important to note that your AFNI is determined on last year's salary, and your CCB payments won't be delivered to you until July of that year. So for example, in 2024, you would calculate your AFNI by your 2023 taxes, and then you would start receiving the money for CCB based on those 2023 calculations starting in July 2024. And then from July to June, you'd receive monthly payments based on that. And then in 2025, they'll look at your 2024 tax calculations. And then in July, you'll receive those payments. Another thing I did for this scenario, I just put in 2 children, 1 child under 6 and a child over 6. And you can see there that because the AFNI is above $75,537, that family would fall in this category, and you can see here that this family would earn just over $6,940 per year, so almost $580 per month in this scenario. So I'm just going to put that into this column here so that we can see some comparisons of what we can do to increase that. But before we get to that, let's just assume that you were in a household earning $68,000 instead. And you can see here now your AFNI is $68,000 and your CCB is now at $9,238. So you're getting almost $2,300 more per year being in a lower income bracket. And let's say you were in the first scenario there, making less than $34,000. And so now you're maxing out the CCB contributions, and the government's giving you $13,700 for having these two children, $1,100 per month. So that should be able to help you out quite a bit. So going back to this scenario where we had the median income in Canada, you're making this $6,940 every year for the two children. Now, what can you do to increase the payments? Well, you saw that the lower your income was, the more money you received. So one way to lower your AFNI is to contribute to your RRSPs. So let's say one spouse puts in $5,000 into RRSPs. You can see that by making a contribution of $5,000 into your RRSP, your AFNI reduces down to $93,000, and so now you're getting $7,225 per year. So you've increased your payments almost $300 per year. And if you were in the situation where both spouses could put $5,000 in, so you've put in $10,000 into your RRSP, not only would you receive your tax refund for contributing to your RRSP, but you'd get the $7,510 for CCB, so you've increased that up almost $600 as well per year. It should also be noted that once you've reached a family income of $219,765, you will no longer receive any CCB. So you can see there you're getting $0 each year. So you're probably in a scenario, if you're making this much money, to be able to contribute to an RRSP. So let's say you deposit $20,000 into your RRSP and you were able to go into the income that's less than the $219,000. So in this scenario, just under $200,000, and now you're getting $1,140 from the government for having your two children. So you can see that even as a high income earner not receiving anything, if you can drop your income using your RRSP contributions below that $219,000, that can be very beneficial to you because you are now getting some money for your CCB, and again, completely tax-free money. So I hope this video has shown you how you can use your RRSPs to not only get your tax refund, but you can also increase the amount you're receiving from the government for your CCB. If you do have any questions or would like to go through a quick calculation of what you will be receiving or anything like that, please do not hesitate to contact me. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe below, and as always, have a wonderful day.